I've done many things in my life in an attempt to be of some possible use. I could list them, but it's not important. The bottom line is that after many, many years, and probably too much effort, I've come to the conclusion that of all things of possible use, training the mind is at the very tip of the top of the list, learning how to use the mind. For example, we can lose an arm or lose a leg and still have what we call a life. But if we lose our mind, we no longer have much in the way of any kind of life. If you think about it, our mind is our most important possession. This is why the Tibetan Buddhists call the mind the wish-fulfilling jewel. Sometimes they just call it the precious jewel. When I was young, I went out of my way to alter the mind in any way that I could by alcohol and caffeine, nicotine, drugs, anything but a straight mind. That was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be taking a trip somewhere and be out of my regular day-to-day mind. However, as I grew older, those mind-altering substances kind of dropped away one by one, and until today, I alter my mind only by food and some nutritional supplements. Anyway, a clear and insightful mind is the most precious thing that I have. In other words, the mind cannot be improved. You can't improve the mind with substances. However, it can be trained, which is what meditation is all about. Now, before I go on, I need to tell you one very important part of meditation practice that you should know about. In fact, most Tibetans will tell you that this is the most important point of all. So please listen up. And it took me years to understand this because I just ignored it when I heard about it, mostly because I didn't totally understand what it was and I wasn't used to doing it. The Tibetans tell us that it's most important to dedicate any merit that comes out of our daily practice sessions, no matter how small. Now, I didn't do this in the beginning because I could not imagine any good merit whatsoever was coming out of my dismal practice. But the Tibetans feel otherwise. They assure me that there is merit in any kind of sincere intent in practice, if only because of the good intent, if certainly not for the results. And it's easy to do. And here's how. At the end of any meditation practice period, we simply say a little dedication. You can call it a prayer if you wish. And we say it to the effect that may any merit of this practice, however small it is, be dedicated to all sentient beings, that they may find true happiness and true awareness. That's it. I mean, it can be as elaborate as you want. But this short wish, this short dedication is said to, like the proverbial acorn, grow over time into an enormous amount of merit. In a similar way, saying a brief aspiration to the same effect when we begin our meditation practice is also beneficial. In that case, we would say something like, may what I'm about to do benefit all sentient beings, not just me, and bring them happiness and awareness such as the Buddha had. It should be something like that. And if you look through the books on Tibetan meditation, there's no single factor that the High Lamas feel is as important as making aspiration and dedication prayers. To them, this is the difference between advancing in awareness and just sitting there spinning our wheels. And I've tried it out. Now, I'm a computer programmer, and I frequently spend my entire days glued to a computer in real concentration. So I thought I would try this out. Every time in my daily work, when I would be interrupted, when the phone would ring, a car would honk its horn outside, someone would ring the doorbell, or one of my kids or something would come into my office, instead of being irritated by the interruption, I would instead, once I was interrupted, do the following. Since I was already startled and I was fully out of my work concentration, this became a natural gap in time to make one of these dedications. I would then dedicate any merit that I had made up to that point in my concentrated work. I would dedicate it to all sentient beings, and so on, as described above. I would make this short prayer and then gently let my mind rest in the space, in the gap that was created by the interruption. Then I would make a short aspiration for the work I was about to go back and do, and then I would get back to work. The next time I was interrupted, I would do the same thing, and this would go on all day long. I would do perhaps hundreds and hundreds of these little interruptions throughout the day, and I did this for almost 3 years. It made a huge difference and paved the way for me to do more practice aside from my time sitting on the cushion. It really was a key to getting some real results. Some of you may want to explore that. And I'm going to tell you about a very special concept that is precious to the Tibetans. It's called the two accumulations. And the two accumulations are merit and awareness, sometimes called skillful means and wisdom. And they work together, and they're really worth understanding. I wish I'd understood them sooner. Now, we know that we're meditating in order to develop greater awareness. In fact, the Sanskrit word Buddha itself means to awaken, or it could be translated as something, the one who has awakened, or the one who is aware. Merit refers to what the Buddhists call skillful means or skillful actions, doing things skillfully. And the two words, merit and awareness, work together in what's called a recursive manner, kind of like an infinite catch-22. And here's how I understand it works. When we're actually learning to meditate, and we begin to develop a little more awareness than we now have, that even small amount of awareness allows us to see a little more clearly how to act in the world. In that increased awareness, we can act more skillfully or meritoriously. And the merit of our skillful action, being skillful with our actions, being skillful in handling situation, that merit itself generates an even greater awareness of space around us, more room to see. That greater awareness allows us to see even more clearly yet. And in that clarity, we can see to act even more skillfully yet. And this goes on ad infinitum, to infinity. In other words, awareness makes skillful actions easier. And ever increasingly skillful actions generate even more awareness, and so it goes. Anyway, these are called the two accumulations, and they each allow the other to reach higher levels, greater heights. There's a snowball effect, and it has like an exponential curve. I hope you get the idea. The more awareness that you have, the better you can see to make the most skillful action possible in a situation. And the more skillful we execute and act skillfully, the more awareness and space around it creates. So these two terms feed on each other recursively. In other words, the relative skillfulness of our every action in the present somehow generates something like an aura or space around it, which is the awareness mentioned here. In that increased awareness, in that expanded time, we can see more clearly to make decisions and to take action than we otherwise could or than we did before. Therefore, we make ever better and better actions, more skillful, and the skill of our execution, our skillful means, generates ever greater clarity and increased awareness, and so on it goes, each allowing the other to reach new levels. This is what I understand merit and awareness are about.